Hi guys, it's Roger here, and today we will talk about CFrames in Roblox. So, I expect that a bunch of you guys heard about CFrames but do not understand what they are. Well, CFrame is short for coordinate frame. A C-frame is nothing but a data type that holds a position value and a rotation value. So you can position and rotate an object using C-frames. C-frames are very powerful because you can do things like make something face a certain item and effectively position it and rotate it. Now, how do we create C-frames? Well, in order to create a new C-frame, you just say cframe.new, and in here, you're going to actually add a vector 3. So this is why we learned vector 3s before, is because in order to use C-frames, you have to know that the parameters, the things that go inside these parentheses, is a vector 3, and it's going to be a position. In order to rotate something, you're going to create a C-frame, but instead of saying .new, you're going to say .angles. Now, usually to rotate something, you say, I want to rotate 30 degrees on the x-axis, 50 degrees on the y-axis, 60 degrees on the z-axis. Well, C-frames don't work like this. In order to rotate something 30 degrees on the x-axis, you're going to actually have to convert it to radians, because what the numbers here are radians, not degrees. In order to convert a number or degrees to radians, you just say math.rad. In the parentheses, you add the degree value. So in order to rotate 30 degrees on the x-axis, you'd say math.rad. And then the parentheses, you'd say 30, and then same thing right here, math.rad 50, and the math.rad 60. So this is how you assign angles, and this is how you assign position. In order to combine both of these, all you have to do is multiply them. So you say cframe.new, and let's move, for example, to 5, 3, 55. And this right here is a vector 3. So basically what it is as if we have a vector 3 inside of here, but we are leaving out the vector 3.new part. We just have the 535. And then in order to combine with angles, you just multiply by cframe.angles. And then you have all of this stuff in there. So that is how you combine two angles. Now let me show an example in game. Imagine we have part blue. I just added 2 parts and colored them. I named this one part blue. I named this one part green. Imagine we want to make this part come right here. Well, you can actually access this part C-frame and then access this part C-frame and assign this part C-frame to this part. That is going to be very convenient instead of using vector 3s, because you're going to have to fix the orientation as well as the positioning. And if you just assign this part C-frame to this part C-frame, it'll rotate and make it angled the same way. So in order to access part C-frame, all you have to do is you're going to have to find that part. In order to find that part, it's located in workspace, and then its name is part green. So you say workspace, and then dot is like a comma in the instructions, so it's a period, workspace, and then you say part green. So what a dot here is it's just like an end of an instruction. It says, okay, go to workspace, okay, I'm here, and now go to part green, okay, it's here. And now we're going to get a property of part green. And this property is known as C-frame. So you say dot C-frame. And now In order to give it a new C-frame, you just say equals, and let's just say the new C-frame will equal workspace dot part blue dot C-frame. So what this essentially does is it finds this part, and then it finds this part, and then takes this part's C-frame, so this part's rotation and position, and assigns it to this part. So this part essentially will teleport right here. Now in order for this part to perfectly teleport right here, we're just going to turn off Can Collide, because if we have it on, Roblox will automatically make this part go on top, because since they're both collidable, Roblox physics will make it do that. Now, before we instantly teleport it, let's just wait 3, and let's run the game. Just run. And now we wait 3 seconds, and boom, it teleports. Now, what if we want to rotate it by 9 degrees on the y-axis? Well, all we do is multiply by C-frame dot angles, and we do 0 on the x-axis. 0 in degrees is 0 in radians, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to convert 0 to math.rad. And then math.radians on the y-axis, and then 0 on the z-axis. And now let's run. Boom, it's rotated, just like we wanted it to be, and it makes a little cross. Nice. Now, for those who do not know what radians and degrees are, well, in order to convert from degrees to radians manually, you have to take the radian, and then you multiply it by 180 over pi. And this is the formula of how to convert radians to degrees, and then you just multiply degrees by pi over 180. And that is how you convert between radians and degrees, but you don't have to really do that because you have the math.rad function. Now, what if we want to offset this position upwards by 5 studs? Well, what we can do is actually do this. Do a C-frame.new. We create a new C-frame, and then we say 0 on the x-axis, 5 on the y-axis, 0 on the z-axis. So we're combining another new C-frame that moves it 5 studs up. So now if we run, bam, 5 studs up. Just perfect, just what we need. Now, as you know, C-frames are going to be very important in our game. We're going to be using them a lot. As soon as we learn how to use tween service, we will be starting to rotate our ball, positioning our cylinders, and making the game function smoothly and nicely. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.